Hey Tayon, thanks for your time today. It's been a little bit since we got to talk to you. I'm just kind of curious on what the timeline was like from November 2019 uh, to now, and what the kind of involvement you had with the team, ability to practice and stuff like that.
Um, the kind of involvement I had with the team, with just being around and basically just keeping them going, bringing great energy, great motivation, to practices, knowing that, I might not play in a game, but still going hard in practices, giving the defense a look. It was definitely a great feeling just to know that I'm getting them better in some type of way. Um, the process from 2019 just being off the field, it was a learning process. I got a chance to learn about myself, learn about, my dreams, my goals, and everything I wanted to accomplish. So, that time it was, very personal to me to take and do something and transform it into a good energy.
If you don't mind sharing, I mean, what were some of the lessons you learned if you look back on like the biggest takeaways from that time not playing?
I just say take advantage of every opportunity you get, you know, and that's something I'm going to carry with me into this season. That's why I'll have a big chip on my shoulder. Just remembering everything that I had and came from, and just notice that it can be taken away. So just taking advantage of the opportunity I get from here on out, I think that'll get me far.
What was it like working with Loxley? I mean, you know, he was I guess that was his first year. I mean, what were the conversations kind of like after November 2019, and was he a big support for you?
Yeah, Coach Locks was always a big support to me, to the team. He, if you notice, like you might hear him sometimes, he always called us his sons. His sons, he always used that or a family term. He treats the whole team like family. So Coach Locks is definitely someone you would want to have in your corner through a rough time or a sad time or any time that you just need to talk or vent. I feel like Coach Locks, he's definitely a great backbone to have on your team.
And Tayon, what was kind of going on last year? It kind of seemed like it was a very week to week basis with you before you finally got to get into a game. What was that like to experience from your end, maybe not really knowing when you would get back out there?
Just staying ready. I know I had to stay ready whenever my time was coming. Um, like just waiting on the process of playing or not week to week. That's why I just went hard in practice. Just to stay ready for that opportunity. Going over the plays with Jake Funk. Making sure my brain is still fresh, so I'm not messing up having MAs when I go out there. But just staying ready through that whole time.
What was kind of like the final green light you got that let you be able to go back out there?
I think it was Rutgers game, the last game of the season. Coach Locks, he came up to me and he was just telling me that everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna get you out there this week, and believe it or not, it happened, and I'm very grateful for that. And even though that was my first game and last game of the season, I still went out there and tried, the best I can. But I appreciate that opportunity that I was given for that one game because I came here to play football, so I was very excited to play that last game versus Rutgers.
What was kind of the emotion of that game?
My emotions were pretty high. Coach Brooks, Jake Funk, they all, brought it back down, got me back to neutral. They both know how much I love this game. So, for me coming out there my first time, I was very excited, hands sweaty, but they calmed me down.
It's when Loxley walks up to you and says, everything's going to be right, you're going to be playing. I mean, just take me through that moment exactly. I mean, after kind of the long road, what was the emotions like when he finally told you you're playing that game?
It was a relief of joy, I wouldn't say I couldn't believe it, but when he told me that, I was shocked because it was the last game of the season. Once you go through a hard time, some people you be like, last game, why even go out there? But anytime I get a chance to just go out there with my brothers and compete, I'm going to do it. I don't care if it's a flag football game or a tag football game. I'm going to get out there and compete with my brothers. So I was very excited.
Was there ever a time that you doubted that this might be possible, that you would be getting back?
Nah, I never had any doubt in my mind. I knew it was gonna be a long process, a long ongoing process. But I never had any doubt in my mind. I knew with Coach Locks and with me, just having faith and putting the work in, I knew I was gonna get back eventually.
Was there ever a time that you weren't practicing with the team and in meetings, or were you around the team pretty much the entire time?
Yeah, I was around the team pretty much the whole time, whether it was learning or practicing, but, just and not even knowing whether I was going to play in the game or not. But like I said, it's just still being around and being a help on the field, without going into the games. That was enough for me.
Coming back for your fifth year, I mean, what do you want to get out of this?
Well, for the fifth year, I know I had a lot. I know I have a lot still stored in me. Coming from a running back room with a guy like Jake Funk, Anthony McFarland, Lorenzo Harrison, Ty Johnson, all league running backs. I got a chance to learn through all four of them, whether it was the lightest thing. But I'm looking to get the same results, if not better, that they got. And I know if I put the work in, I will.
And what kind of work, what do you think you need to work on to become that lead back for the team?
Just, getting stronger in the weight room. Also just looking at my plays more, preparing myself before the game. That's something I really wanted to work on this season. Like a vet, like Jake Funk, he was in the film room, all week before the games. And when you get to the game, it shows. Like, he knows where to hit the holes, like he knows his reads. So, I just want to better myself off the field, in the classroom.
And you've got the spring game coming up. I mean, after everything that the team went through last year, what's the feeling? Are they really looking forward to it, or is it any more important because other students and fans will be allowed to come to that game?
I think we'll be very excited for the spring game. This spring game is important, just like every other game. Every time we get a chance to compete, it's important. So we're gonna come out, we're gonna have fun, and like you said, the fans are out, so we're gonna give them a show. I think that'll give us more energy, offense and defense. They're first time in the shed with the fans in a long time. So I think the juices will be flowing and the guys will be ready to go.
Hey, Tayon, Coach, when I talked to Coach Loxley on Tuesday, he'd mentioned that, you're sort of stepping up into a leadership role in the backfield, especially because it's very young. What sort of, what are you sort of trying to do there, and kind of how you're trying to mentor those young guys?
Just push them through practices. Practices can get long, and it can get you tired. Just, keeping their head right, pushing them, and just keeping them going, just like how the older guys did me. Or, just coaching them up on mental errors or little mistakes that they have made, on the field, whether it's a route running or protection bust, but just, being in their ear 24/7 and just keeping them going and just telling them that, that their time is coming, and just basically being motivation and just getting them ready for the future and now.
Tayon, I'm just curious. I mean, when you look at now that you know what a long road back it was, if you could go back to that night, what would you tell yourself, or like what would you do differently in terms of the day kind of you got in trouble?
Something I do differently, is just staying home. Late nights, just stay home. You don't want to get in any trouble. And I try to stay from, a lot of situations where I know, that's not good for me. If I got to ask myself twice, then it's probably not good for me, So just being smart and staying away from situations that you can avoid.
Is that something you try to tell, a lot of young guys? You're 18, you come into college. Is that something you now are trying to maybe tell your younger teammates to help them?
Definitely. Just telling them that, you can have fun, but just know the slightest mistake and you can end it all. And, just being in their ear, they're young, how I was. So I know it's going to be hard for them to listen the first time, but if you keep staying in their ear, they'll listen eventually.
Does that give you kind of like a unique leadership role in a way, just your background and what you've been through? I mean, does that give you kind of an advantage in some ways of, hey, like I can kind of take guys under my wing?
I would say it gives me advantage, towards the team. When they see a leader, they gather around him. Guys like Jake Funk, I wanted to gather around Jake Funk because of his energy and his leadership role. So I got a chance to learn what it means to be a leader and what steps it takes to be a leader. So I definitely think it gives you an advantage. And I think the coaches, they trust you more when you're a leader, you know, so definitely.
I'm curious too, like, obviously you're practicing stuff throughout, but do you stay in game shape that way? Or is there a difference between when you don't play Saturdays, but you're practicing, or are you still ready for games in a sense? Or is there a little bit of buildup you need?
I think so. You know, when I was in practice, I knew I wasn't playing, but I was also going against the starting defense at the time. So, I knew that I had to give them a look. So, just going hard, it felt like a normal practice, if not a little bit more, just going against them all day long. So I was getting better, and I was trying to get them better. So I think I did stay in great shape. And it got me ready.